what happened in Parliament last week. And so Saturday on Newsfile, there was a conversation about it. First, let's listen to Speaker Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin. And then you hear from former Majority Leader and former Member of Parliament for Swami, Osei Mensah Bonsu.
What I said is this. Let there be no doubt Parliament's credibility has been seriously undermined. An urgent punitive action has to be taken. Since this was done, contemptus parliamenti in facio parliamenti. Consequently, the following members are suspended from the sittings of Parliament for 2 weeks from today. They are 1 and 2, the two chief whips, in the persons of Mr. Roxon Nelson Eche, Kwame Dafiamako, and Mr. Frank Ano Dompre. 3, Mr. Alasan Suleimana Tampuli, and 4, Mr. Jerry Ahmed Shaib. Consequently, the following emergency measures are to be taken with dispatch. 1, the circumstances of the absence of a Privileges and Immunity Committee. In that circumstance, a 7-member special committee shall be constituted under Orders 5 and 20, Rule 4, to conduct a full-scale investigation into the events of yesterday and this morning. The committee shall identify all members involved in the disorder and submit its report with findings and recommendations within 10 days from today.
I think that the incident which happened last Thursday and indeed in the morning of yesterday, Friday, certainly brings the name of Parliament into disrepute. It is grave and requires to be dealt with promptly. And the Speaker of Parliament is right to have availed himself of the imperative of Order 34 of the new standing order, which provides that despite anything contained in these orders, the Speaker may refer any matter of privilege to the Committee of Privileges and Immunities for examination, investigation, and report. I think the Speaker has, in view of the incident, directed the immediate suspension of the two chief whips for both majority and minority, respectively, and 2 other members. Their suspension, as you said, is to last for 2 weeks. Now, the question to ask is from where the Speaker is deriving his authority, as I have heard you discussing. In fact, neither the standing orders nor the Constitution grants the Speaker any such authority. The Order 35, which I heard one of your panelists quote, that is on the exclusion of this disorderly member, and he has quoted it rightly when he says that in the opinion of the person presiding over the House or a committee, the conduct of a member is grossly disorderly. The person presiding may order the member to withdraw from the presence of Parliament, and that member shall immediately leave the presence of Parliament and shall not enter Parliament again during the remainder of the day's sitting. So, you see, if an incident happens in plenary, when the Speaker is presiding, then the Speaker is flowed the authority to cause the withdrawal of that person from the presence of Parliament, even if it happens in a plenary where the Speaker is presiding. The order for the member to withdraw from the presence of Parliament lasts for the remaining period of the 24-hour sitting day. It doesn't last for 2 weeks. In this particular case, it happened before a committee of Parliament. And indeed, that order ought to have been issued by the chairman of the appointment committee, not the right honorable speaker.
Okay.
So that is it. And indeed, the Speaker has said that, stated that even before the Committee of Privileges commences their inquiry, he says that anyone found culpable of contemptuous conduct shall be surcharged for the full cost of repairs and replacement, with deductions made from the emoluments, including the salaries of members, if necessary. Clearly, the Speaker is jumping the gun.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Okay, so that's what happened. That's what happened on Newsfile. You had Osei Mensah Bonsu. We brought you what Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, who's Speaker of Parliament, said while suspending members of Parliament, the 4 members of Parliament. Raymond.
2 things. First and foremost, what happened in Parliament, nobody can defend. And it's without doubt that it's an embarrassment to all of us. And I agree with the scrutiny that they are talking about, because somebody ought to get to the bottom of it. And I think I spoke to Joe Oseusu also, and he raised the concern, I think 2 or 3 years ago, that he's getting worried about the kind of responses that parliamentarians have now. Threats to beat people, threats to attack people on the floor, not even anywhere else. Some of the conduct of the people, you are not sure whether they know where they indeed are in the first place. So we need to, and ultimately that question will come back to the people who elected them and put them there. If your sole motive is to elect, but sometimes we're thinking that's only the macho men that do these things. Yes, but we saw lawyers engaging.
2 lawyers,
yes.
actually. Yeah.
So people who should know what is rule of law and what is due process were themselves, engage in acts that anybody would agree is despicable. My difficulty is that the remedial measures the speaker took, and again, you are not here. We said, let nobody, taxpayers' money, be used to fix people's irresponsibility. Because if it happened in a senior high school, for instance, they would have said we are surcharging the kids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They destroy school property. And that even we expect 16, 15, 14-year-old kids to exercise judgment that is proper and then bear the consequences of it. It cannot be the case that when it comes to members of parliament, they are given a pat on the back and let to go away. So certainly I support that. The concern be raised about whether they can be suspended or not. That is something that I am convinced that Roxanne, Tampuli, they are competent enough to challenge that. Indeed, there are other people who are not even lawyers anyway, but they can equally seek legal advice to challenge that. What that will do is make it clear the procedures required for such an action. But if I were to be them, I will take it in good stride, go and sit home, because it's embarrassing. And again, I also agree that when you have set up a committee to work on something, it is mostly preferable that you wait for the outcome of the committee before you act, so that you are not seen as jumping the gun or taking action that's not in tandem with recommendations, or not giving them a good hearing before you make a decision. I agree with all of those things, and I'm convinced that the people involved, they can, if they feel that their rights have been breached in any way, or if they feel that their constituents have been denied proper representation because of their conduct or anything related to that, I know they know what to do. But I'm saying, if I were to be one of them, I'll be in my constituency begging them that I've not represented you properly. Yes, I misbehaved, and that I should actually, you should forgive me, not even Parliament. Parliament, yes, you took me there. So you, the people that took me there, that I went to misbehave and misrepresented, should forgive me, because these things cannot happen. And this is just vetting, and it's not even a very strong matter on the vetting. I am tired, I don't want to continue, you can continue, you cannot continue. See, Winston, Parliament can deal with bigger problems in this country. I get it when whether or not Speaker has been elected or validly elected, and when somebody takes ballot papers and all that can lead to chaos. But I cannot understand how I am tired, I want to go home. No, I'm not tired, I want to stay and continue, can result in violence. See, we should examine the psyche of the people properly, because there's something fundamentally wrong somewhere.
And Raymond, I also of the school of thought, and I believe that certain strong action should be taken against these members, and I'm for that. I was on this preview and spoke about how something should be done to ensure that never again. But also there's an argument that you also want to listen to about the due process. Is there a privileges committee? Can they sit on this issue and the required actions be taken against these members, so that again tomorrow when there's a challenge, it doesn't depend on a speaker not liking one person or not to take an action against them. I'm full support of tough actions against these members, but what are the right lay down procedures for these actions to be taken against these members? And for me, that is where the concern is. It's a good thing, and as you said, that these individuals, is in the right of these individuals to again challenge this procedure, not whether a third party thinks that it is right or wrong, but again whether the lay down procedure for dealing with such matters is supposed to be a privileges committee to actually meet on these things, what be their recommendations and all the rest, so that it's implemented to the letter.
Imagine these MPs being asked to advise those academic students
Wow.
Can you believe that? I mean, yeah, you have not shown the restraint, the discipline required to do some of these things. But when we elevate you to member of parliament, we are just saying that you are a leader, and a leader ought to be a bit more disciplined.
The protectors of the law.
Yes, and you're a lawmaker. I mean, you can be emotional, but they were basically acting as if, frankly.
But I think that I'm also beginning
No,
to.
I think there's something fundamentally wrong. It's either we are failing to put the right people in parliament, or the right people even got something up in their heads that this is the best way to resolve problems.
We only thought that when it was a hang parliament that these things will happen. But and for some of us, we always push for a majority and other majority. But it appears that that is not, because if you had the eminent lawyer Tudaze on News File, he made the point that when he went to parliament, he didn't like the environment. There appears to be some tension among the members and all that. But again, I would also say that I am beginning to like the approach of Mama Yariga, the majority leader, in dealing with some of these issues. You know, maybe quite diplomatic, but always ensure that things are settled. And I think that a very, very interesting approach that he has adopted in getting results and getting things done.
Let's get into the papers.
Yes, the Ghanaian Times is reporting this morning. NDC Pro Forum supports Ablakwa to advance Ghana's global agenda. That's on the front page. NDC Pro Forum. Now, the other one, don't keep LPG cylinders indoors. NPA cautions public. And it has the picture of Godwin Eduji Tamaklo, NPA boss, National Petroleum Authority boss. Yes, this is very good advice that I think we should heed. But
Very much talk about LPG.
Mr. Tamaklo, I think that most of us LPG consumers, our main concern is the cost of the product.
Yeah, the taxes.
Yes, as for this advice on where to keep it, we have heard it before.
It's good.
And we love it, and we actually will comply with it. My own is sitting outside. The most important problem that we LPG users are complaining about is that you put government has put a lot of taxes on it. Your predecessor kept on saying he will make a case to government for its reduction. I am expecting you to give us updates on that. In fact, one of the earliest things some of us expected you to do is to show proof that you are indeed with the people of this country. More importantly, the masses of this country, by making sure that the taxes are reduced.
No grace period.
No, this is not grace period matter. People are suffering.
You know, and talk about prices. The LPG is expected to go up this week, actually, even from today, by more than 4% per kilogram. And if you study the trend over the past weeks, when the other products like petrol and diesel are just doing 1-2%, LPG is doing about 4-5%. We're still yet to establish why we've seen that huge jump in the price consistently over the past weeks. And from today, most of the LPG marketers should be adjusting prices by more than 4% per kilogram for the product.
And before you move on, maybe the history is important, Mr. Tamaklo. First, it used to be subsidized. Now, they've compounded and put plenty taxes on it. And they did at a time that the product was very cheap. So people did not feel the impact of some of these taxes. But now we know that the product is increasingly and compounding the exchange rate problems and everything is compounding the world market and everything. So please, make sure that you show real leadership by this is the job because I heard you saying that you want to as leader you want affordable fuel for the people. You don't start with the other one, the Western Super and the other one. No. Start with LPG.
And all the rest,
yes. Because there was a reason why we used to subsidize it.
So and the fear is that now people might be moving back to firewood and
destroying the environment in the process of
environment and all that because it is cheaper. I mean, I heard someone in one of the stories saying that it is way cheaper to use charcoal than to use gas,
maybe in terms of cost. When you put the cost all together,
I actually did that documentary.
And
the people who said that the cost of LPG, now if they spend say 50 cedis, they buy a bag of charcoal. It can last them 1 month, and LPG at 200 and over 200 Ghana cedis also lasts them 1 month. So they prefer to buy charcoal. Even those who had LPG were using charcoal and LPG at the same time. And look, there was a woman at Achimota Market who said, anytime the price of LPG is reduced, it affects the charcoal business.
Oh.
Yes. She says, anytime it is reduced, it affects the charcoal business. So this is a country that since 1990, we decided to start a program, LPG for Development, Rural LPG program. We've done all of these things aimed at reducing the cost of liquefied petroleum gas so it is affordable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's never affordable. Anyway, let's get into other stories.
So the other one, last one. Arrest, prosecute illegal miners. President Mahama directs 3 ministers to take action. This is President Mahama's most comprehensive statement on illegal mining. I am hoping that there will be action. I am hoping. Because as for somebody put even the presidency itself on the line, and we didn't see much. So, Mr. President, no problem. Even all 3 ministers can come together but I want to see action, not a 9-day wonder. We want to see real, sustained action for the future of this country.
The lead stories on Business and Financial Times today, this morning, that is Dr. Johnson Pandit Kusisiama. He takes over as the new governor of the Bank of Ghana, and as the lead story on the Business and Financial Times was Dr. Ernest Addison proceeds on his terminal leave ahead of his retirement on March 28, 2024. Renegotiate the lithium deal could hurt investor confidence and also pension funds under management to hit 100 billion Ghana cedis in 2025, but concerns persist over investment options and digitalization connectivity key to Africa's vision of a single market. So says the Chief Executive of MTN Ghana. These are the lead stories on the front page of Business and Financial. And your friend, Dr. Siama, is taking over.
Yes, I am very happy that he is going back to the central bank. hopefully he's not going to be there for some period like he did previously.